Hello and welcome to another Warframe video. Today we're going to be talking about how to increase your master rank for leveling up either your frames, weapons, companions, or to pretty much hit your next master rank level like I have. Firstly, we already made a video on how to get master rank more specifically, but this is how to level up your weapons quickly and how to get there. If you need a link for that, it'll be in the top corner right now. Guys, let's get straight into the video. Firstly, what you're going to want to do is decide which area you want to hit, being the first ones that generally a lot of people use being Sanctuary Onslaught or Elite Sanctuary Onslaught for weapons, which I'd consider Elite is one of the best options for weapons. Tyana Pass is one of the options you can use earlier on, since you get this one after completing the Venus-Mercury junctions, and then going to Mars, but you have to go to Deimos first and complete the Necrolis with Otak, talk to him, and then you'll get Tyana Pass unlocked. This is a mirror defense mission that can go back and forth over and over, so it's a defense mission with the affinity range being relatively close, so everybody in that circle will get everything. So it's good earlier on, though later on I would not recommend this. The other option we got, guys, is if we head down to Saturn, we got Helene. Helene is used a lot for two reasons, mainly. It's pretty good overall with the affinity range being a Grenier defense with the pod moving up and down in the center, so there's nothing really hard about it. And it stays in a good area, and everything's close together, so you'll always be pretty much in affinity range, except if your whole team is on one side of the map and you're on the other side. That'd be the only way that you'd get out of affinity range at Helene. The other one that's also just as good, that's better for later levels, is Hydron. Come over here to Sedna and go over here. It's the same thing, a Grenier defense mission that goes up and down, up and down. This one's really good later on. It's level 30 to 40 enemies, and you can get done through these. The next thing we need to talk about, though, for getting affinity for your weapons, though, is you might want to come over here, go to equipment, my bad, hit boosters, tied off all of this so you can actually see them, and pick up one of these to do them. Though if I'm doing it myself, I'd say just go cheapest and just go ham with leveling up, though you can definitely go up more if you want to make it last longer, so whenever you have the stuff done crafting that you can start formatting it. Also, if you do wanna, you can technically go down here, and then go to stinking components, and buy Forma here, though if you're doing Forma, you want to get the Forma pack because it is cheaper, and you get 3 instead of just buying the singular one. That's just something, if you're trading a lot of platinum in, buying Forma packs is something that I would recommend if you do not want to wait a day for it to craft. But let's get straight into each of the mission types and explain them a little bit more, starting with Sanctuary Onslaught. Once you get into a Sanctuary Onslaught, you'll either spawn immediately in here and just start going to town on stuff, or you'll spawn in later and have to deal with your own things and pretty much get them all. If you spawn already in the mission, it means somebody left in the previous zone. If you spawn in here and you're on first zone, you're going to have to go through a entrance portal in the beginning to travel here. After this, though, you want to stay near your team and see a little 3 dots up there in the corner of my screen. That shows you if you're infinity range. If that's 3, that means all of your teammates are in range, guys, and you'll be able to get everything that you generally are looking for, and also trying to get. But guys, let's farm up my Mesa, and I'll give you a time on how long it took for me to farm everything up on my character in regular Sanctuary Onslaught. Relatively doing this, you'll hit max rank if you're doing everything like I just did in 30 minutes or so doing a normal Sanctuary Onslaught. This can definitely be enhanced, especially if you're using nuking frames or have a teammate or friend that's pretty much nuking nonstop and staying relatively close together. Though some maps, people will go out and get out of affinity range, which will affect your gain and make it slower or faster, depending if they're closer to you. This pretty much does help, and also weapons are slower in Sanctuary Onslaught. It feels like a lot, especially if you're playing frames like that are nuking and stuff, and you're going to get XP on your frame faster than you will be on your weapon. This was done also without a booster, like all my tests will be done with. But guys, let's get into Tyana Pass and show how fast it'll be, and we'll just be doing the weapons and the frame again this time, with the regulators again from scratch. Everything's reset down to 0, guys, so let's go on to Tyana Pass. Tyana Pass is a mirror defense mission, so you're going to be going from here to an area over there each and every time, every few rounds. But there's also crystals that you'll be collecting around that 2 of your teammates pretty much will do it, while other people just are sitting here. Depending on your frame decides which one I'd say you should do of going for the stuff. Because if you're going for a more speedster frame, or you're going for a more defense-centric frame like Mesa, I'd say stay here in the center. But if you're doing something like Titania, Bolt, or any of these other ones, you can just go around collect the crystals. We'll probably find some right soon. Go around for a second for some. Well, I'd see those crystals up there, you just gather those. But this one's really good overall, because you also get the frame citrine and 2 weapons from this place as well, one of them being the chlorophyll, which is actually pretty decent. But guys, let's talk about how fast this also took for me to level up all of my stuff. Tyana Pass is a lot slower than just doing normal Sanctuary Onslaught, though it does give you a decent amount of resources, plus also the stuff you're farming for. If you're going for citrine, the Stephalos or chlorophyll parts, and you need those for master rank if you're trying to hit like MR30 and stuff too anyways. And citrine is a pretty good support frame overall too. This will be the reason I hit this though, is for resources pretty much, and that you're getting more of that sort of thing. Then it's also a pretty okay credit farm early on, though it's still not the best for that. I think Tyana Pass is more or less just one for beginner players to hit to do their first little bit, though if you just go through the star chart, Elite Sanctuary and Sanctuary Onslaught are probably better for you to hit. Everything's reset again, guys, so let's go straight into it. Besides, my companion ran a Forma, can't get any right now. So, I'm gonna head up, and we're gonna go to Sedna to do Hydron. Though, we could do Helene. The reason I'd say if you want to do Helene is because it has orokin cells, or plastids would be the 2 reasons that you mainly want to do it. We're gonna do Hydron, though, because it's the better one out of the 2 just for pure experience, and we're going to show you how this one's probably one of the better ways to farm it. It is still not the best way in the game, though we'll talk about that in a separate video, the absolute best way to farm experience. We hit everything max level now on Hydron 2. It's pretty much the same, exactly, pretty much, with some fluctuation. It's still the same basis of if you're nuking stuff, it's going to be faster, but say 30-35 minutes per getting through everything on yours, minus the companion, since I just didn't have it, though it would have been done in the same time. All this, like, pretty much gonna say is the next one we're doing is Elite Sanctuary Onslaught. It's the best one for weapons, since you cannot carry a frame into there, since it only allows Master Rank 30 or above to pretty much go into it, is the main thing with it. But guys, Hydron's great, same with Helene if you want resources, because you'll get a decent amount from it, because it's just a basic mission, especially if you go longer in the mission, though most people drop out of it, which is the issue with running the defense missions over Sanctuary Onslaught. Though Sanctuary Onslaught normally goes on only to like round 4, and then people leave. But let's get ready to do some Elite Sanctuary. For Elite Sanctuary, because it's mainly focusing on weapons, I'm only going to bring 3 weapons in it with the Harpat, Talons, and Orthos. We're going to be going over here and going immediately into Elite Sanctuary Onslaught. It is the highest level enemy of the 3-4 things that I've shown you, and that's why it's going to give you the most reward, but let's get into it. As we see with actual just Elite Sanctuary Onslaught, we're still going to be doing fine, but you're just going to be going around pretty much killing everything fine. And you'll have the highest of, like, pretty much XP whenever you're in this, because the enemies are level 60 to 70, and that's it. So it's really good. Elite Sanctuary is where you're going to want to be if you're farming weapons, if you're not doing the pretty much best method, which is using a silenced frame with a bramma or something. That is the best way to farm experience in the game, if you build it right. But it does require a little bit of setup, and then affinity boosters take any of the farms that I've shown throughout to another level by allowing them to pretty much get double the amount that you're getting base. Alright guys, I'd say it's about like, it shaves off a bit of time, but I'd say your average without a booster is 20 minutes, guys, though, from Elite Sanctuary Onslaught, and that's going to be like the way I'd say recommending for weapons, though. Affinity boosters do go a long way. If you're gonna grind a frame non-stop, you're definitely gonna want them, because the recording of this video for not doing affinity boosters because I wanted to do it. Normally I'd run one myself. It took a while to farm up each of these things to pretty much show it off. But thank you for watching. These are pretty much the top areas that I'd recommend, going in the order of pretty much Tyana Pass is the lowest one, I'd say. Helene, I'd say second lowest, though it's better for resources. Then we got regular Sanctuary Onslaught, and then we got Hydron, and then I'd say the last one would be Elite, but it's purely just for weapons, though these are all beaten if you do got Silence as a helmet and can run a AoE or weapon that can kill really quickly. Because if you kill enemies that are pretty much stealthed, it's a plus 500% affinity bonus, so it helps a lot with leveling process really well. We'll talk more about that one later, but I'm doing that one more as an intermediate guide to leveling. This is the beginner's guide one, but I'll see you guys later. Bye.